Okay, welcome back. What I'm going to do is for all the novices out there that have no idea about stock trading whatsoever, I'm going to do some very, very simple things to show you, okay, how to basically trade stocks and some of the mistakes that I constantly see people making. All right, now I'm on something called TradingView, which is actually free. So you can type the ticker symbol in here, and I'm just going with AMD because it's one of my friends who has some problems. Okay, doesn't understand support and resistance and some easy moving averages and what things happen. So as I was pointing out to him, and this is a weekly chart. So we could go to even a monthly chart. So if a weekly chart means in the next, basically, this will tell you the direction in the next 3 to 4 months. Okay. And then if you have like higher time frames, like I go to and I just clicked on here, the higher time frame, and I go to the month chart, this gives you basically the big picture of what things are doing. So when we look at this chart and we're just looking at the overall of AMD, in 2018, it was what, $8.85, and it's gone up to $100. So in 7 years, if you had just held on to it through all the thick and thin, you still would be up money. Because what you see, and over here, you can take these lines, and then I can actually make a line, okay, and we can kind of see a general trend line where it hits like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all these different patterns. And so that's what we're looking for, is how many times does it actually hit the chart? So does that line look like it's going up or going down? It looks like it's going up to me. So overall, it's hitting some major trend lines like right now on this slanted chart. Or I could actually take this and actually make a resistance line. And we have something called support. A support line. Support and resistance. So that line, actually, let's do this. Let's move that line up to here. And why do I call this support? Because it just came all the way down and it's meeting an area where you see multiple areas and how many times it's touched this particular zone. So when you fall below this, it acts as resistance. And you can see that right here. It got up to here, then it came back down. It tested the resistance and came back down. It tested the resistance and came back down. And then tested the resistance, and what did it do? It broke through. And when it breaks through resistance lines, you're usually looking at an upside return. Now, okay, can it go below? Well, if it goes below this area right here, you got to sell because it's going to probably go back down to $60. Why? Because that would be my next line of resistance. So if I take this line that I previously drew, let's see if I can do that, and move it down to here, this would be the next point that you would see probably this particular stock drop down to, and then probably bounce back up. What do we also notice? Things go up and things go down. And things go up and things go down. And things go up and things go down. Now, what I was saying to my friend is a very good lesson for a lot of you. I'm going to go back to the weekly time frame. And we're going to take a look at the big picture. And I can just drag, and I can also make this smaller and bring it in here so that we can see multiple times, even multiple years. All right. So I think he bought in like 2022, or he bought I think it was like right here. And then it went down. All right. I'm sorry. Around, of 2023 in July. And then it went down about from 123 down to like 94. So you probably lost a lot of your money. Would you want to, at this particular point that I'm showing you right here, okay, would you want to sell at this point right here? And my answer is hell no, because it came back down and it's acting as what? Support. And so if I move this up, this is your resistance. And why is that resistance? Because we have multiple points on the chart that show that. So going back to my thesis right here, it went all the way down here. It went back up to here. What happened? We had a little bit of dip, and then it continued. Now, once it broke this resistance and this bar printed, you had a lot more upside up to about here. Okay, well, how do I know here? Well, I can look at this particular one, and I can draw multiple points of support and resistance. Now, one of the confusing things is what is resistance becomes support. What is support becomes resistance. And I'll give you a few examples of what I mean by that. So you bought the stock right here and you're impatient and you sell down here. Well, you lost 20% of your money. And then you watch it right in front of your eyes skyrocket back up. And you go, shit, I'm going to buy it. And you buy it here. And then it goes down immediately. Remember, this is a weekly chart. And then you want to sell again. Well, the goal of passive income is patience. React, don't predict. React, don't predict. Okay? Don't use your emotion with some of these things. Now, is this really hard to do? No, you can do this with pretty much every stock. But I'm going to give you some other two things that you can do. Now, for most of you, you're not trading every day. That's quite obvious. So you can look out at once a week and see, is the direction of my stock continuing to go up, and is it continuing to go down? The other thing is we have to talk about is dollar cost averaging in and dollar cost averaging out. And I told my friend right here, I would have put in 25, maybe if I was really highly convicted on AMD, 50% of the money. I have $10,000. I'm going to put $5,000 here. And when it came back down to here, I was going to put another 2,500 in. And then when it hit down right where this resistance is, I would have put all the rest of my money in and went, okay, if it drops below this area, I'm going to put a stop loss, and I'll show you how to do that on subsequent videos. So that you don't lose anymore, but you're watching at this point. It hit the resistance once, it hit it twice, and then it blasted off. Now, why did I do that? Well, I dollar cost averaged in. Now, once it went way above this, okay, when it went above this, I'm in the money a lot. And when it came up to here, I would have watched, but it blew through this line right here, which is actually what? That would have been resistance, because it should have bounced off and come back down and tested it a few more times before it went through, but it went through. So right here, I would have taken off 25% of whatever I had. Now, that's $150 right here, and I had bought it at, I probably would have been at an average of $100 per share. When it got up to here, I would have sold it at $150. Now, you tell me, if I sold the whole thing, okay, I would have had a 50% return on my money. So I would have gotten $5,000 out of it. About two indicators. I'm going to show you the two easiest ones to use. And I'm going to type in something called RSI, which is Relative Strength Index. All right. And I'm just going to go, where is it? Right here, just a simple one. And I'm going to throw that on there. Now, what this is going to show you is we have two different lines, and these are moving averages. What happens when the purple line crosses the yellow? The stock goes down. What happens when the purple line goes above the yellow, like right here? What happened right here? Stock goes up. So this is super simple to look at where the direction is going. So I want you to see where we're at currently right here. All right. See if I can make it even bigger so you can see clearly. All right, right here, this momentum is clearly going up. Now, look, what did it do? It hit this, and that acted as resistance, didn't it? And it came down, it came down, came down. Will it break this time? Or will it hit it and go back down? Well, this is the 50% line. So basically, that's your equilibrium, and everything's going to want to go towards equilibrium, and we're badly out of place. If you were up in here, there's still room to go down, way down to here. Okay, so that you can have bounce off of this 50% range too. Conversely, at the very top, this is your 100%. Anytime you're over 100%, you probably should be taking profits. Anytime you're above this line, you want to sell. So I looked at a week. Let's look at one day. Oh, it crossed. So it's starting to hit the 50 on the day chart. Does it look? It looks like it's going to continue upwards. Okay. Will it come back down and go back down? Yeah, that's what the market does. It goes up and it goes down. It goes up and it goes down. That's relative strength index. Now we're going to go to something called the MACD. All right, that's moving average convergent divergent. So MACD, moving average convergent divergent. There it is right there. All right, we're going to click on this one. All right, now this takes a lot of things into consideration. I got too many of them on here. I'm going to get rid of the RSI at this point, just so you can just see this one. All right, this gives you not only strength index, and it kind of does this, it shows the moving averages again. This is another really solid way to figure out, okay, when I should buy and when I should sell. Now I'm going to go to higher time frames because higher time frames are just much more consistent in the delivery of what they do, meaning that you can kind of predict the future by looking at higher time frames. All right, and then we're going to take a look. Now I can move this out and I can show you how I can make this a little bit bigger. Obviously, when you're in the green, and when did it go from red to green right here? When the blue or the 50-day moving average crossed the 200. Anytime you have a lower moving average crossing above a higher moving average, it's potential for big gains. And what did it do right here? I bought it at 92. I could have sold it at 200 or 220, or at least by 200. So you doubled your money in just a short time frame, a couple months. Okay. So actually, these are weeks, about 2 or 3 months. If you can double your money every time you have 2 or 3 months. Now, what happened right here when it crossed back down through? Right here. Right here, it crossed back down through. That told you it was probably going down. All right. Would I want to take profit up here? Yes. I would have taken some here and I would have taken some here. Now, when it started to go down and fall below this support, because it could go down to here and bounce back up, but it no longer acted as support. It fell through. I would have taken the rest of my profit right here and waited for a different day to get back in. And what had happened right here, that would have been the confirmation of taking the rest of them off right here, because the blue line crossed the red line. All right. I'll give it a 7 or 8 out of 10 probability of making money right now. That doesn't mean it's short term, doesn't mean it's long term. I'm talking about making money where it goes up to at least close to 118, 119, 122. Now, again, this is not financial advice for any of you. Whether you're doing crypto is even more violent, but you can still use the same moving averages to trade crypto as well. It's like putting your male appendage in a pencil sharpener. All right. In other words, it can be very painful if you don't know what you're doing. Now, those are some 2 very simple things. We could go down to the 4-hour and see how the MACD is looking too. Yeah, it crossed and it's starting to go back up. All right. I hope you found this helpful, and please like and subscribe, and I will try to do a few further videos on some of these for basically people that don't know too much about trading. Okay. This was kind of a lesson one. All right. As always, have a wonderful and blessed day.